Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Verbal Teacup. Also, welcome to this session on reading philosophy. Right. So, our topic today is Plato in Sicily. Now, Plato was a very famous Greek philosopher, one of the earliest philosophers, and Aristotle was supposed to be the student of Plato. So Plato in Sicily. Now Sicily was near Italy, and he traveled into Syracuse, which was in Sicily, and it was full of war and crimes and different kind of situation that was there. And he wanted to create a philosopher king. Now the concept of philosopher king is actually in Plato's Republic. Republic is Plato's book, and he talks about how a philosopher king is the right kind of person who should be ruling the country. So let's read this in 388 BC. Now imagine this is before Christ, so this is so many years ago, thousands of years ago. Plato was nearly 40, and he had lived through an oligarchic coup. Oligarchy is rule of a few, and he had lived through that. Coup is when you take a position by force. A democratic restoration, so first the coup was there, the oligarchy coup, when a group of people took over power. Then democracy was restored, and the execution of his beloved teacher Socrates by a jury of his fellow Athenians, and his guru, so-called guru, his teacher Socrates, was also killed by his fellow Athenians. Means he was in Greece, so Athens was the capital of Greece, and Athenians, the people of Athens. A group of people who decided that Socrates should die. So Plato at the age of 40 had seen all of these things. In his youth, Plato seriously contemplated an entry into Athens' turbulent politics. Turbulent means full of problems, and he was actually contemplated means he really thought about it, but he determined that his envisioned reforms, but he thought that his envisioned means what he imagines reforms of the city's constitution and educational practice were vanishingly unlikely to be realized. So you see here, he was thinking he really wanted to enter into Athens politics, but what he realized, what he envisioned means what was his vision about the politics, and that was unlikely to be realized. तो वो होने वाला नहीं था. It was not going to be realized. He devoted himself instead. He did not join the politics. He devoted himself instead to the pursuit of philosophy, in a search of philosophy. But he retained a fundamental concern with politics. He retained a fundamental concern means he was actively thinking about politics also, ultimately developing perhaps the most famous of his formulations, that political justice and human happiness require kings to become philosophers or philosophers to become kings. So this was his concept of philosopher king, and this was his most famous idea or argument, which is called as his formulation, his formula, his idea, that for political justice and happiness in a country, in a state, in a city, they require king to be like philosophers or philosophers to actually become kings. And Plato approached, as he approached the age of 40, he visited Megara, Egypt, Cyrene, southern Italy, and most consequentially of all, the Greek speaking city state of Syracuse on the island of Sicily. So he visited a lot of countries. And in Syracuse, he was really interested in, he met a powerful and philosophically minded young man named Dion, the brother-in-law of Syracuse's decadent. Decadent means one who just likes fine things in life and luxury, and so that is decadent. And paranoid. Paranoid means crazy. Tyrant means a king who has become a dictator. That is a tyrant. Dionysus one. So he met this philosophically minded young man, Dion, and he was the brother-in-law of Dionysius one. All right. And Dion became a lifelong friend and correspondent for Plato. All right. So now, last time I was telling you how to remember what you learned in each paragraph. Yeah, some of you had asked me, and for that, what you do is just pick up the main points of each paragraph, and just write them down or just mark them. So then you just look at those points, and you will immediately remember what the whole paragraph was about. So the first paragraph was about that He was interested in politics, but he became a philosopher, and his political idea was that philosophers should be kings or kings should be philosophers. He traveled to many places. You just mark it here, right? And then move on to it. So your first point is written that he he was thinking about a political philosophy of philosophers being kings or kings being philosophers. All right. Second wala paragraph was that he went to Syracuse and made a powerful friend known as Dion. Okay. And this connection brought Plato to the inner court of Syracuse's politics. And it was here that he decided to test his theory that if kings could be made into philosophers or philosophers into kings, then justice and happiness could flourish at last. He tried to put his theory in practice in Syracuse, and this is the second paragraph ka idea. Now let's see how he tries to do it. Third paragraph. Syracuse had a reputation for venality and debauchery. Now this is again, the debauchery means having many relationships with many people, negative, and obviously not having one partner, having many partners, so not being morally sound. And Plato's conviction, Plato was very sure, soon collided means it got fought with the realities of the political life in Sicily. So Sicily ka political life was totally opposite to what Plato wanted. He wanted philosophers, he wanted morally good people, and here they were all immoral kind of people, who was the king himself and the political system. The court at Syracuse was rife. Rife means full of suspicion, violence, and hedonism. Hedonism is a concept in philosophy which talks about only having fun in life. Fun at the cost of anything. Even if you feel that killing somebody gives you fun, then you can just go ahead and kill somebody. That is what hedonism talks about. That fun at any cost is good. All right. So, and Plato was against that. So, obsessed with his own idea of assassination, Dionysius refused to allow his hair to be cut with a knife. So, Dionysius was a crazy fellow, the king there, and he did not even allow his hair to be cut by a knife. He used to get it singed with coal. Singed with coal means burnt with. So, burning coal uske baal ke niche rakha jata tha to burn it and, just cut it in the right shape. He did not allow catchy or scissors, and he forced visitors, even his son Dionysius too, and his brother Leptines, to prove that they were unarmed by having them stripped naked, inspected, and made to change clothes. So he used to just mistrust everybody. He slew means he killed a captain who had a dream of killing him, and he put to death a soldier who handed Leptines a javelin to sketch a map. Javelin is a rod kind of a thing which you throw. So Leptines was his brother. In just to to dust में वो एक pointed bhala होता है actually, javelin as you call it in Hindi. So javelin throw and discus throw we used to do in school, if you remember. So उसको डस्ट में स्केच करने के लिए उसने वो भाला दे दिया था. तो he just slew that, he killed that captain. And this was an inauspicious means an unlucky candidate. So this is Dionysius one, according to Plato, was not the right candidate. Inauspicious means unlucky person, because he is not the right kind of moral person for the title of philosopher king. Plato's third paragraph was talking about how Syracuse was actually opposite to what, and how this guy Dionysius was not the right choice. Plato's effort did not fare well. He angered Dionysius with his philosophical critique of the lavish hedonism of the Syracusan court. So Plato, what he did, he made Dionysius the king very angry, because he was criticizing philosophical critique. He was philosophically criticizing the lavish kind of this lifestyle of the court, and arguing that instead of orgies and wine, and there was just drinking and women and that kind of thing that they were doing, one needed justice and moderation to produce happiness. So he was talking of opposite things. So this guy, the king, became angry. However sumptuous the life of the tyrant be, if it was dominated by insatiable, how sumptuous means however pleasant or delicious the life of a tyrant is, but if the life was dominated by a grasping after sensual pleasures, he remained a slave to his passions. So Plato told the king that you lead a very crazy life. You might be having a lot of fun, your sumptuous life, but if you are only living for your body, your passions, and your wealth, then you are a slave to your passions. insatiable means something जिसको कि बुझाया नहीं जा सके, तो ऐसी प्यास जिसको बुझाया नहीं जा सके, तो that kind of for sensual pleasures. So the king obviously was very angry after hearing this. Plato further taught the tyrant the converse, that a man enslaved to another could preserve the happiness he possessed, a just and well ordered soul. So what happened? Plato's first visit to Sicily ended in dark irony. Dionysus once sold the philosopher into slavery. He sold Plato as a slave. He captured Plato and he sold him as a slave. He figured that if Plato's belief were true, then his enslavement would be a matter of indifference, since, in the words of the Greek biographer Plutarch, he would, of course, take no harm of it. Being the same man, he would enjoy the happiness, though he lost his liberty. So, Plato had taught the tyrant the argument that a man enslaved to another could preserve happiness if he possessed a just and well ordered soul. So, just to prove himself right, what Dionysus did was Plato said that even if somebody, captures anyone, a person whose soul is pure and free, his soul will always remain free, even if physically he is captured. So, Dionysus, what he did was he sold him as a slave. And he said, ki, according to your philosophy, you will not have any harm from it because he would enjoy happiness though he lost his liberty. He said, ki, you have only said this argument, na? So you will enjoy that. So the slavery is not a problem for you. He was just trying to take revenge. So this fourth paragraph is talking about how Dionysus sold Plato and he was against his idea of a philosopher king, whatever. Right? All right, fifth and sixth paragraph quickly let's do. Fortunately, Plato was soon ransomed by friends. So he was ransomed means he was given money and freed by friends. Ransom pay करके जैसे kidnapping का ransom pay करते तो he was money देके उसको freedom उसको दिला दिया गया. And he returned to Athens and to found the academy. The academy was the school where he produced many of his greatest works. He wrote his works also, and he made a school for philosophers called as the academy. In fact, this guy Aristotle studied there as a student of Plato, and he wrote his book The Republic and Symposium. These were Plato's works. But his involvement in the Sicilian politics, बस उसको Sicilian politics से मन नहीं भरा था. He returned to Syracuse twice, attempting on both the later trips to influence the mind and character of Dionysus at the urging of Dion. तो Dion ने उसको बोला कि Dionysus को change करो, but वो change नहीं हो रहा था, and he was still obsessed with Syracusan politics. तो इसमें बस यही बात होती है. Sixth paragraph. Now the next one. These three episodes are generally omitted from our understanding of Plato's philosophy or dismissed as a picaresque invention of late biographer. So this writer is saying that these stories about Plato's life actually are just dismissed as add-ons by later biographers. People say that this may or may not be true. However, this is a mistake that overlooks the philosophical importance of Plato's Italian voyages is travel. So, in fact, the three trips to Sicily reveal the true philosophical knowledge entails action. He said that, if I am a great philosopher, I have to take action and prove my philosophy as right and create symbols which will. So, that's why Plato was going to Sicily again and again, to Syracuse. And they show how immense, how important power of friendship in Plato's life and philosophy. So how he wanted to help his friend Dion, who was there, by making the king change his life. And this suggests that Plato's philosopher king thesis is not so much false as incomplete. So Plato's philosopher king thesis, which he wrote in the Republic, actually is just incomplete. It is not false because he really tried to have that happen. Okay, these events are cogently expressed, means totally together with, in Plato's often overlooked seventh letter. So his work, The Seventh Letter, has proved an enigma. Enigma means like a mystery for scholars, at least the great German philologists of the 19th century. So these people could not understand what this seventh letter of Plato was. While the majority of the scholars have accepted its purity, authenticity is purity, few have given the theory of political action a prominent place in the exegesis of Plato. So they have given it a very important a place. In the past 3 decades, last 30 years, some scholars have even moved to write it out of Platonic canon, with the most recent Oxford commentary terming the pseudo-Platonic seventh letter. So here they are saying it is pseudo plus. Pseudo is false, you know? Pseudo force is a false force. Pseudo Platonic, Platonic is means related to Plato here. So they are saying that the seventh letter is false Plato. It's not like the true Plato thought. And this is the last 30 years this has happened. In 2015, the Oxford commentary about that thing talked about it like that. Each age has its own Plato, means each age represents or thinks about Plato in its own way, and perhaps gives the apolitical quietism of many apolitical quietism, and means many academics, many philosophers, they are not politically inclined, so that is apolitical, and they are quiet about politics. It makes sense that contemporary academics often neglect Plato's discussion of political action, so they don't want to talk about Plato's political action. Nonetheless, but in spite of that, most scholars who even wish to be a forgery have means who even wished the letter to be a forgery have found the letter authentic. But most scholars who thought that, they wish that this seventh letter should be actually a false thing, not a true thing of Plato, but they have found that it was actually true based on historical and stylistic evidence. So based on historical and style of his writing, actually this seventh letter is a true work of Plato. If we return to the story of Plato's Italian journeys, which Plato himself tells in the seventh letter, we are able to resurrect. Resurrect means to recreate the historical Plato who risked his life in order to unite philosophy and power. So, this seventh letter, May, he talks about his Italian journeys, and he talks about how, he tried to unite philosophy with politics and power. Okay, so till now we saw, so now just a quick recap. As you remember, we had to remember how to remember everything. So first May he talks about philosophers and kings. Second May he goes to Syracuse. Third May the Syracuse king becomes, he talks about life in Syracuse and how it was all, immoral life that was being led. Fourth May Syracuse, this Dionysus becomes very angry with him and he sells him. Right. Then he is, rescued by his friends, paid the money and rescue him. And then comes the seventh letter, which some people think that it was false, but actually in the seventh letter, Plato is talking about his 3 trips to Italy and how he has actually tried to unite philosophy with politics and power. So this was your recap, and this is how you have to remember. Just write one line about each paragraph, and your whole passage can get summarized very beautifully. All right. So this is how you remember long passages, long paragraphs. I hope this helps you. I'll be back. See, this is a long passage. This has a second part. So maybe in the second recording, I will do the second part of it also. Okay. So we stop here for today. And thank you very much. I'll attach the link of this one for you so that you can read it yourself also. Bye-bye. Take care. And please share and like and comment, because, that makes me more, that encourages me to work harder for you. Right? Bye-bye then. Take care, all of you. And very good night. Bye.